Hello and welcome you with India Post Live, India's first online streaming news conversation portal. I'm Ishan Russell, and today we are talking about the big semi-final match in the World T20 tournament, India versus South Africa. Yesterday the West Indies, God wanted West Indies to go into the semi-final. That is what happened. That is as Darren Sammy put it, and that was because of the rain gods. The match got rained out yesterday, and by Duckworth Lewis, Sri Lanka have reached the final. So will they be facing off with India or South Africa? We'll figure that with our cricket expert Shekhar Luthra. He joins us. He's the assistant editor with DNA and has broken a number of cricket stories and a former player himself. And Sanjeev Singh, he's of course a cricket enthusiast and a resident cricket expert and has been writing about cricket for the longest. I mean, ever since I was reading newspapers, you've been writing about cricket. So, Shekhar, I'll start with you. As far as India versus South Africa goes, how do you see that shaping up?
Well, when I'm sitting with Sanjeev, for the first time, I've always seen him, covering Congress beat, and I was actually joking with him. I'm going to sit with you in one of the conversation, maybe the elections, big election special. But nevertheless, it's great to have Sanjeev there. But I think it's going to be cracker of a game because we all know that how hard South Africa can play and how difficult it is for Indian batsmen to get rid of the South African pace battery. But these are substandard wickets, as we have discussed yesterday also in the show. And this is not probably suited to Dale Steyn or Morne Morkel. Morne Morkel for that matter is or Hendricks for that matter. They are struggling on these wickets. But again, Dale Steyn, he is the bullet. He is the bullet that South Africa would probably use in the death overs, in the initial couple of overs, to get rid of probably one or two top Indian batsmen. If that could happen, it could be a very, very difficult game for India. But nevertheless, given the kind of wicket, given the kind of conditions, I think India will definitely start on a 60-40 note. Advantage India for that matter.
Advantage India. Would you concur with that, Sanjeev?
Well, of course, and I think the first 5 to 8 overs that India faces are going to be crucial, as Shekhar was pointing out, because you have the strain factor, and we've also seen that how Shane Warne was giving tips to the South Africans on their bowling. So they're going to focus a lot on spin bowling because, as Shekhar said, the pitches are not very pacer friendly. So perhaps because Dale Steyn is in form, they'll go with him. And it will be essential for India to bat out those first 5-8 overs without losing too many wickets. If they can do that, then definitely they'll be on top because apart from the strain factor, we've seen everything else go so far in favor of India. And of course, batting, as far as the batting of South Africans is concerned, Amla is going to be the guy to watch out for, Amla and AB de Villiers. Right. We know Dominic can also chip in, but they've not been in the sort of form that perhaps Rohit Sharma or Virat Kohli or even Mahendra Singh Dhoni have been so far in terms of consistency. So I'd also like to go with what Shekhar is saying. I'd give India a slight edge over the South Africans.
And very, very interestingly, I think it will be interesting to see whether South Africa will go in with Imran Tahir, because that's what, their trump card in the previous games. But against India, against Indian batsmen who are very, comfortable against playing right-arm leg spinners, because probably we have Amit Mishra, who is much, much better in terms of, quality than Imran Tahir. And also Domini experiment, which they were doing in the earlier games. Domini was bowling the first over, and then Dale Steyn, and then all Morkel or Hendricks or any other bowlers. So this will be very interesting if they could again start with Domini. If they can again have Imran Tahir, which probably 90% he should be in the team. So if they will have these two spinners, it will be very interesting how Shikhar Dhawan or how Virat Kohli is very, very I would say he doesn't take all these right arm leg spinners very nicely. He goes after them, he hammers them, and he has that ability to play very late. That's the beauty of Virat Kohli. And again, then when it comes to Dhoni, if it actually comes to him, then probably his shots, his probably improvised shots, it could be very difficult to tackle a batsman like Dhoni. So very interesting. If they can go with again 3 pacers and 2 spinners, and then AB de Villiers and Amla taking care of the batting, it will be a very interesting combat.
Yes,
for
it's
that.
been set up rather well, and also with the fact that South Africa always called the chokers, how that would play on their
No, no, no,
minds
no,
is
not after
something.
that over. I have
Not
seen
after Dale Stein's over.
that great over. I would say probably in last 30, 40, 40 years that I have been playing or covering cricket, I can tell you that was the best over I have seen.
Oh,
I can always say that, the best opening over, I always regard it Richard Hadley's, in the Tri-Nation series in Australia once. I think in the morning 5 o'clock when he was bowling to Gavaskar, and first by 5 balls, Gavaskar could not touch even a single ball. He was only beating, and sixth ball it came in, it took his edge, and he was out for 0. But this was the best last over I have seen. And against a batsman like Anderson, Corey Anderson, probably best slogger right now, then Ross Taylor, then McCullum. If you are bowling
yeah,
to
they were just
these
standing over there as mute spectators. They just couldn't
spectators,
connect.
and kind of bowling he was doing, he was just bowling 147, 148, and he was not only beating them in trajectory, what we can say, but also with the speed, also with the bounce, little bit of extra bounce that he generated that day. I think one of the best overs I have seen in my life in the last over.
All right, I'll come back to you, Sanjeev, on that one as far as Dale Stein is concerned. But I'd just like to remind our viewers that indiapostlive.com is the name of the website. You can log in and post your comments over there. If you want to join in this conversation, ask our experts anything, most welcome. Join in via Skype, and also hashtag IndiaPostLive to your tweets to comment about this big tie that is happening today, India versus South Africa in the semi-final of the World T20. There's a tweet that's come in. Devajit Adhikari writes in that Dale Stein will rattle India if batsmen don't fire. Sanjeev, Dale Stein is the threat. I mean, irrespective of what the pitch is doing, or just he is that much of a threat. He's that quality of a bowler that you can't take him for granted at any stage.
Well, of course, and especially after that over against the Kiwis, I think he's the number one problem for between India reaching the final right now. So that is something perhaps which will be on the mind of Mahendra Singh Dhoni also. And I think the way India should approach this thing, or they must be working on it, is the fact that Shikhar Dhawan and Rohit Sharma. It's going to be a battle of wits. Who blinks first? Are they going to wait? Are they going to wait for the second bowler to come and then take him on, or are we going to see someone like a Shikhar Dhawan who's not done well, take his chances and go against 10 and see if it works for them or not? So it's going to be a mind game, and we've already seen the mind game play out. We've seen Ravichandran Ashwin say that he's in the best form of his life. So we've been hearing these kind of comments before the game as a sort of a build up. So that mind game is already working. Now, just before the game, when the game starts, when you know the final composition of the team, that's when we know whether the mind game will remain a mind game, or we're actually going to see India take on Stein. Because if a opening batsman takes him on and gets some runs, then that will be a huge boost to the morale of the team.
Well, the opening batsman, that is a little bit of a problem that India has been having in this tournament. Shekhar, I'll come to you on that one. But I just want to get in our Skype guest. Anuj Sharma joins us from New Delhi. Anuj, what would your comment or query for our experts be?
Yeah, hi. I've been listening to your conversations and very well said that it's all about the mind game that's been playing offline and online as well. People been commenting everywhere. So as far as I see, semi-finals is a stage where it's all about capitalizing your nerves. It's all about holding your backing yourself with confidence, and it's not about an individual game that probably we see at this stage. Stein is a threat. He's definitely a very very tough bowler to face off. But we also need to think that there are only 4 overs of Stein. So it's more of a team effort that entire South Africa has to pull in, because all the games which they have won is basically because of the bowling, and batting lag a bit in all those games which we have seen. As far as the India is concerned, they definitely have an edge because they've been playing more over as a team in all the games which we have seen. The bowling complemented, the batting, fielding has been a lag of a department in both the cases, but which is okay. So I believe it would be all about holding your nerves. And one question I would like to ask from you guys is that how important or what key would spinners play if they come out to open the bowling?
All right, spinners opening the bowling. Shekhar?
From India side?
from both the ends, because probably Stein is one person whom they like to consume at the end, keeping their his 2 and 3 overs aside if game gets into a crunch situation. So probably how effectively can South Africa use Imran Tahir at the beginning and at the middle overs, and what a strategy should India go on with this overs?
Well, I think for South Africa, they should be going in with Domini, because he has been bowling well, flat, and also he doesn't have that much of spin. So I think with the new ball, he controls it better than the old ball, because with the old ball you always have a chance to wait for the ball and then hammer him. So I think going with the Domini for first 2 overs or 3 overs, probably that would be a good thing. But for India, it is very tricky, because we all know that Hamla is one player whom you could hardly trouble with your pacers, because he's very good against the pacers.
Who's going to play Shekhar? Because there was a story in the newspapers that Dhoni might play Mohit Sharma instead of Shami in this particular match.
Well, both Mohit and Yuvraj Singh, they were struggling with their injuries. If Mohit is fit, but again, the kind of bowling that Shami, or the kind of pace that he generates, Mohit is hardly a patch on that. So I think if I'm a captain, I should go with Shami, because he is the one who is getting us breakthroughs. So better to have, when you have only 2 pacers and 3 spinners, and then part-time spinners also, then it is better to go with your best pacers. And I would not take chance with Mohit, because he's very raw and he has not actually impressed anybody in this tournament or the last he was playing. So, but for India, as I was talking, it's a very tricky situation. If they go with Ashwin, or if they introduce Amit Mishra towards the very beginning, that is where I think India would like to have Amla early, because after Amla there is only one great batsman, I would say, that is De Villiers. So if we can have these two batsmen, rest of the Miller or anybody else, De Kock is struggling with the form, although he has done so well against us, that 3 centuries consecutively that he scored. So I think De Kock and Miller, or subsequently, we can take care of those batsmen. But these two are the key. So if we can have our spinners early, if Amit Mishra could have the same kind of squarish spin, then it would be good to introduce them early, and then go with Shami in the death overs, or Ashwin we can keep for the death overs. He has been bowling well. And in the mid overs, we have to take care of Jadeja, because Jadeja is one bowler. That is a weak link, definitely a weak link in bowling. Though he has been bowling well, he's been contributing with the bat. But again, when we talk about five bowlers, quality bowlers, he is probably the last quality bowler. So in a way, I think we have to bowl his 4 overs in between 8th over to say 14th or 16th overs. That would be a better thing to do.
Alright, I'd like to take in a comment that's coming on our wall, indiapostlive.com. You can also log in and post your comments over there. Pratik Verma writes in that though South African team is tagged as chokers, it would be stupid to take them lightly. Their batting lineup is formidable and can change the course of this game in this batsman-friendly version. Sanjeev, the tag of jokers, the psychological effect, as Shekhar was mentioning, after that Dale Steyn over, that perhaps the ones who would remember Alan Donald famously running them out of the World Cup in '99. So that psychological factor aside, can the batsmen, how do the batting lineups match up?
I think if in terms of consistency, India definitely scores way over South Africa as far as batting is concerned. But again, it's the composition of the team that's going to be important. I would go with, as Shekhar said, I'd go with a Shami. And if Yuvraj Singh is fit, I'd like to keep him along also, because, when the middle overs come between Jadeja and Yuvraj, you can bowl out those 6 to 8 overs and try and keep the run rate down, and expect Mishra and Ashwin to do the damage, and of course save Shami for the later overs. So it's going to be a composition of the team that's going to be crucial as to how they go about it. But I think India definitely has the edge. And as far as the chokers tag is concerned, there was a time in the middle when under Saurav Ganguly also, India also held the chokers tag, because we didn't win much. So wouldn't want to bring history into the game. It's just about who plays better on that day. And going by the past 2-3 games, I think India definitely has the edge.
And then playing, soccer before a match, I don't understand why.
Yuvraj Singh.
Every
Well,
great
the team
cricketer.
manager said, I think that he is fit enough to
No, he
play.
is fit enough, but I don't know why with the bare foot you are playing football. You always know. Yuvraj himself knows, about 4 years back when he had the ankle twisted and he was out of the series while he was playing volleyball at that time. I don't know why they experiment with volleyball, football, because
Just stick to cricket.
Sanjeev, I have been covering cricket for so long, and from 2005 when Greg Chappell took over, I have never seen Indian team warming up before the practice session. This is very strange because everyone knows when you get down from your buses, you have to warm up a little bit, to raise your body temperature, and then you start practicing. But in the last 6, 7, 8 years, I have not seen them doing this. They come back from the gym, they take their buses, half an hour, 1 hour long journey, and then they get down to it. Start playing soccer or volleyball or straightway to cricket. So this is very strange kind of a warming up session that I have been witnessing. But nevertheless, I think they are professional. They have so many people who are taking in crores, millions and millions are being spent on them. But this is very strange, and then asking them to play football barefoot. This is suicidal, definitely.
Well, let's see, wait and see whether Yuvraj Singh plays this match. Anuj, you wanted to come in?
I have a question for you guys. That we've been discussing too much about Spain and the kind of an bowler he is. What would be the two players that you would pick apart than Spain from South Africa and two in India apart than Virat Kohli for the match?
If you could just repeat that, we couldn't get you. Anuj, just try once again, please.
Yeah, we've been discussing too much around Dale Steyn and his performance all over. If I have to, I want to know that if two players that you need to pick for today's match, apart than Dale Steyn from Africa and apart than Virat Kohli from India for today's match.
Okay, who could be the two players that shine other than Virat Kohli and Dale Steyn for the respective teams?
I think for India it is very important that Dhoni should promote himself, up in the order. We know Yuvraj, apart from that one good innings, he has been struggling, and he was struggling for a long time. So to have Yuvraj for the later overs, if we have couple of overs left, and in the death overs, that would be a good strategy. But if we lose early wickets, I think it is important to have Dhoni probably two down after Virat Kohli, and then Raina, and then Yuvraj, other players. Because Dhoni is one who has shown with his, that skills, that improvised skills, that he can not only pace up the, batting thing, but also he's the one who plays that psychological games also inside.
And he paces his innings very well.
He paces his innings well, and he plays so many, psychological games within the field also. That rattles the opposition. That helps India to, to get rid of those, that umbrella, fielders, initially, which they try and set up against the spinners. So that's very important if Dhoni comes up. But overall, I think it's important. If you ask me who could shine in batting, I think that could be Dhoni only, because there is no other who is in great form, because Rohit Sharma, Virat, we all know that, Virat we all know, but Rohit Sharma or Raina, they are all struggling, and they are only having chips and bits of their batting, not a great run so far in the tournament.
Sanjeev, your take for two players from either side, other than the Steins and the Kohlis?
Well, I think it definitely between South African team, between Hashim Amla and AB de Villiers, they are the other two people that we need to watch out for. And as far as India is concerned, I would still, if Dhoni comes in earlier, great, but I would somehow prefer to keep Dhoni for the later overs, because he's too valuable to lose early on, and let's hope that India plays well so that he can come around the 12th over and then pace out the whole thing. But if we are in such a scenario where we lose 2-3 quick wickets and we're down, if you're about 40 or 50 for 4 wickets down in perhaps the 8th or 9th over, then we really don't have an option. But if all goes well, I would keep Dhoni right for the end, because he's a master finisher. Might as well keep him there and use all the people like Yuvraj and the Jadejas early on, so that that momentum keeps going till he comes in, and then he can take control and take the innings to its logical conclusion.
All right, Anuj, I hope that answers your queries. Thanks very much for joining in. We'd love to have you join in the conversation more often. And you too can join in this conversation. Of course, indiapostlive.com is the name of the website. You can log in and post your comments over there. Also, hashtag #IndiaPostLive to your tweets to join in this conversation via Twitter. Well, there's a voice that's come in on our wall. Pace versus spin, writes Shubho Roy. Bowlers to do the trick rather than batsmen in this match?
Hopefully, because that's what the strength of India right now in the tournament. Though always India has banked on their batting, but in this particular tournament we have seen our bowlers doing so well. So I just hope it's our batsmen against their top 3-4 batsmen. But again we have to be wary of their bowlers, because I have always maintained that if they could have quick 2 or 3 wickets, they can put us under pressure, lot of pressure. And they have a very good pace attack who has always rattled the Indian batting in the past. And Morne Morkel, mind it, he has been under tremendous pressure. Whether they could play him or not, again a very difficult thing to predict, because he has been hammered all through. And Morne Morkel is one player. If he plays, then definitely he would like to come back very heavily on Indian side, and he would try and damage the Indian batting.
All right. As far as you're concerned, Sanjeev, who other than, we've talked about the batting, we've talked about the bowling, but let's talk about the captaincies. And Mahendra Singh Dhoni, everybody knows he's Mr. Captain Cool, Captain Courageous. What about Faf du Plessis? How's his run as captain been? And do you see the kind of mind games that Mahendra Singh Dhoni can play? And as Shekhar was warning the opposition team about it, can Faf du Plessis do the same?
Well, of course, you see, you have in Dhoni, you have someone who's been there, done it all, and has a track record to show. For du Plessis, he's the sort of guy who wants to prove a point. So he'd perhaps be more of the adventurous lot and try and do something in which if it clicks for him, then he has it going for him. So I think really the ball is in South Africa's court, and how they would want to take on a team that has already been winning. Remember that India is the only unbeaten team in the whole tournament. So really the odds are stacked up against South Africa, and especially for a new captain like du Plessis. So they'll have to do all the thinking and try and make India do something that they're not comfortable with.
And these two gentlemen doesn't come into play, all this Ducks and Lewis method.
Oh yeah.
It was very strange two gentlemen.
Yes,
I think I and you can create a better system than Duckworth's Lewis system. So, but anyway.
Yeah, in a T20, how valid is that? I mean, you've seen matches turn around in a matter of like 10 balls.
If you go and ask even Duckworth Lewis, if play stops right now, how much runs, or even they could not say, because they have to put that in the computer and it will run, and it will come out with a sheet that this much of runs are needed or this much wickets are needed. So this is so complicated. That's why I'm saying these two gentlemen should be kept at a distance and let's play.
That's the India will have to pray for that. But I think the Sri Lankans played and got through yesterday. That's what Darren Sammy was alleging.
There are so many other good systems. Even one gentleman, I'm forgetting his name, from Chennai. He has built he has given a system which is rather better than this Duckworth Lewis. Although even that I could say is not foolproof. But again, me and you can come up with such a good system, because you have to understand that this is cricket. Mathematics doesn't play a great role here. You have to understand, if you are down with 6 wickets and at the end of say 10 overs you are 68 for 3, you have to understand the batting second. Sometimes keeping in mind the wicket also, whether it has deteriorated or it is playing better, you have to go according to that situation, rather than in a set format in a computer you have to put a sheet whether wicket has deteriorated or improved. You have absolutely no idea about that.
Sanjeev, the fact of a 2020 match is a couple of balls can change the entire match, and
Sammy had just come. And that's the point.
Yeah, that was the point. He was about to change the game.
The game.
Yes.
And he had just come, so the game was just about to change, and the rain gods intervened. But then again, that's been the problem with the West Indies team, that till a Bravo or a Sammy comes, they're always dithering. So if it was about to rain, perhaps they must have known that the other players have to perform, because none of them have been consistent, and it's only the pair of Bravo and Sammy when they've come that they've actually changed the face of the game. So knowing that that the conditions are not going to be good, the weather might change, I think really we must give it to Sri Lanka simply for the fact that they were more consistent than the West Indies.
Shikhar, yesterday's match, it was destined in Sangakkara and Jayawardene's T20 career to play the final as the final match.
It was destined to make Duckworth Lewis, two friends or brothers, whosoever, richer by another $50,000. That's all I can say. Because, again, yes, Sri Lanka, we all know that it's a great tribute to their two legendary batsmen who are going to play their last game in the final on Sunday. But apart from that, it was the kind of moment when Sammy came. We all know that he was in great form, and as Sanjeev was saying, that was the moment probably in the next 2 overs or 3 overs that we were about to know whether game is going this direction or that direction. Yeah. Till then, it was, if not 50-50, it was about 49-51, in Sri Lankan favor. But again, it was not out of hands of West Indies. They had done it in the past in this tournament only, and they were about to do it.
All right, we have a guest coming in on Skype, Mr. Vijay Lokapalli. He's, of course, with the Hindu. He's written for so many years on cricket. Thanks so much for coming in as a senior journalist there. What would your comment about the India versus South Africa match be? We have Shekhar Luthra and Sanjeev Singh in the studio with us.
Yeah, I think most unpredictable, because you can always say that India can have the upper hand because the spinners have been doing really well. But South Africa are known to be unpredictable, but also they are also known to choke when it comes to a knockout situation or in a big match. And much will depend on Dale Steyn, like always. The batting has been inconsistent, but I think India definitely holds the upper hand for the simple reason that the spinners have done exceptionally well on Bangladesh tracks.
But Vijay, again, first of all, a very good morning. This is Shekhar Luthra. But again, keeping in mind that the way they played against New Zealand that day, and can you still call them a chokers? Because I believe that over must have changed a lot mentally when it comes to, and that psychological thing.
Dale Steyn's fine.
That was one rare situation where I think New Zealand should have won the game. South Africans were, New Zealand actually had the game wrapped up. So the fact that it went to the last ball, it shows. And I have not seen South Africa deliver when you really expect them to play like the team it is. They're known to be a very, very strong team in Test cricket, number one. But they're yet to win a big title internationally. So that's one reason why I feel India definitely is a better place today.
So, this is Sanjeev here. I don't know if you remember me, but
yes,
in 1999, when I used to come, I used to take a lot of tips from you because I really was a cub reporter on the cricket field from NDT. Those days I used to work for NDTV.
Thank you. I remember you. Yes.
So, what is your take on Yuvraj Singh?
Very kind of you to remember me.
No, sir, of course.
Of course, read you every day, sir.
So, what is your take on Yuvraj Singh? Do you think, how would you fancy his chances if he actually gets to go and perform in the game?
I think he's a match winner. If he's fit, he'll swing any game. I mean, the way he won India the 2011 World Cup, you can always say 3 years ago. But if Yuvraj is fit, he is possibly the only player in this team who has all the shots you can think of, except for maybe the short ball. For some time he's been struggling, but I would definitely put my money on Yuvraj to swing the game. For this, it means a lot to him. If he can produce 2 quality innings, India can come back to the World Cup, T20 World Cup. But I think he has some exceptional gift to convert even the good balls into bad balls. And the most important thing is he can play all the shots. So that matters a lot when you go in a tight situation in a T20 game, because you hardly have any time to settle down. And if it comes to it, I think I'll probably back Yuvraj more than I would back Virat Kohli.
Wow, that's saying something, sir.
No doubt. We all know that Yuvraj is exceptional talent. The only problem for him in the last couple of, ever since he has made his test debut, is probably he was not meant for test cricket. We all know that he was a complete waste in test cricket because of attitude, because of temperament. This can be a debate. But in one day or T20, he is an exceptional God's gift. And we all know that he can change the course of game within a span of couple of overs, within a span of couple of deliveries. And lately, ever since he has come back from cancer treatment, he has been fighting with fitness, lot of other issues, and off the field also there is lot of attention being paid to him. So that's been a couple of problematic area, but overall, yes, if he's fit, if he says or that he's not going to play football in the future, then probably he'll have a longer or a better career.
I have one more question for.
We're absolutely running out of time, Sanjeev. So the final question perhaps can be: who do you expect to win? Who would you place your money on for this one? Because we're absolutely running out of time.
Is it for me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll back India because India has played exceptionally well in this tournament and they're peaking at the right time. I'll back India against South Africa any day.
And anything they should watch out for?
Watch out for Yuvraj Singh.
All right, well, Sanjeev, what about you?
Yuvraj Singh versus Dale Steyn. It will be a great contest.
Well, I would of course be backing India, and my money would be on Mahendra Singh Dhoni.
All right, Mahendra Singh Dhoni. In fact, there's a Skype comment, a tweet that has come in. Vishal Sehgal writes in that MSD will take India through to the finals. Team effort is needed though as well, not just Mahendra Singh Dhoni.
I think our bowlers, if they continue to bowl the way they have bowled in the tournament, there is no way any team can stop us.
All right, on that note, we'll call it a wrap on this conversation. Mr. Vijay Lokapali, Sanjeev and Shekhar, thank you very much for coming in and being part of this conversation. IndiaPostLive.com is the name of the website. Do log in over there and tell us what do you think, who do you think could win this match, who could be the critical players, and what should India be worried about? Should we be worried about the rain gods, or should we be worried about Dale Steyn? And hashtag India Post Live to your tweets to join in the conversation. Well, that's it from here. The conversations, of course, continue right here on India Post Live.